How many things have you and I done that everybody said was impossible?
Not walk into a hospital guarded by U.S. law enforcement.
Chucho is like a brother to me. I would do for him as I would do for you.
Well, if he's your brother, then he's my brother too. Roman Comte, when we find him, he is the general manager of the hedonistic
Yeah.
center of the universe when it comes to South Florida, and that is the Mutiny Club and Hotel. And so as the general manager, he is part puppet master, part ringleader, part elephant shit scooper of the society, the adult society in Miami. He is also, the converse part of that coin, is a devoted father, and he has a very serious girlfriend in Marisol. His daughter Valeria is his goal is to raise her and to protect her. He is estranged from his brother, Nestor, who is, for all intents and purposes, his best friend in the entire world. And they've been estranged for many years, given Nestor's decision to go into a nefarious world. And that is the sort of the world that is beginning to crack open in Miami with the cocaine cowboys and the beginnings of the cocaine wars. Roman Comte is privy to that, being the general manager of the Mutiny, where many marimberos, many cocaine cowboys would frequent the Mutiny, along with politicians and rock stars and actors and celebrities, along with the CIA. And the CIA manipulates Roman into infiltrating his brother's world, thus opening up that dangerous Pandora's box that could affect Valeria and Marisol, the two people who Roman is trying to protect.
I think for me, what I like to watch is something starts and you see humans going about their life. His life is perfectly fine. He goes to work. He has his family. He's set in his way. I'm in my world. I'm okay. A little more, dangerous, but doing okay. And then they're thrust together. He's forced to come and deal and reconnect with me. And then you see this unfolding. So I think what's interesting to me is you take this man Nestor and you take him from his world, and then you force him to go back into this world, and then the outcome of that is maybe what others didn't want to happen, but is what winds up happening. Is that you just be careful what you wish for, because you create an alliance that is way more powerful than what you were trying to fight initially.
Maurice and I would subsequently sit down over many days and have conversations as to who the real Roman Comte was. He was a family man. He was a father to Maurice, and he would go down to the very molecular detail of, I remember him coming home at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning from working all night at the Mutiny, and he'd crawl into my bed exhausted, and he'd fall asleep. And I remember smelling the cigarette and the cigar and, the smell of a man who'd been working all night, but he just wanted to be with his son. And he'd, wake up at 7 after sleeping for a couple of hours and take his son to school because he wanted so badly to share that time with him before he'd have to wake up in the afternoon and go back to the Mutiny and work. So to me, the hierarchy of you know, working at the Mutiny was a privilege and something I think was very exciting for Roman, the way that Maurice explained it. But his number one priority was his family. And so those were the things that we were talking about so we can build a foundation for the character. And then Chris and I would then take that foundation and fictionalize it to a great extent.
Oh, yeah, 100%, 100%. I'm very much, I'm 100% Cuban. I was born in Cuba, Cuban parents. My grandparents were from Spain and France, but my parents are Cuban. So yeah, it shapes you in every way. It shapes you in every single way. You know, it's what you are heard, what you hear spoken in your house. You know, what happened to the Cubans is a horrible thing that a lot of people don't know the story. They just don't know the story. They think they know the story, but they don't know the story. And it's you know, it's a country that has not had peace for hundreds of years. It was not the Spaniards, it was dictators, it was all, you know, then communist dictators, it was all types of things came through there and took from Cuba. Not gave, took.
Well, this is a very different time in history. There were. I was reluctant at first when I heard Cop, but I heard Chris Brancato and I heard Danny Pino. I didn't even know that he was involved, which was just an added cherry on top. But you know, Miami, 1978, height of the advent of the cocaine trade, sex, drugs, disco, and death.
There it is, right there.
There it is. Pretty cool brew there. This is a guy who's shoveling shit against the tide. You know, what do you do? It's this incredible tidal wave. When something is happening that's just bigger than you, more than any group of individuals can even deal with, and you have all these pressures from above and below and behind and everywhere pushing on you to get something done, it makes for really, really interesting theater, right? Like, what does this guy do? You know, and on top of it, trying to maintain a family at the same time as a relationship with his wife. You know, I love playing characters who are placed in impossible situations.
He was that weird kid, that strange kid who played with snails in the outfield, and his mother embraced that. His family judged him, but his mother let him be as strange as he wanted to be. So when she met an untimely end, he built the hotel as a home for misfits like himself, and he sees it incumbent upon himself to keep the party going. And what does that take? It takes a lot of coke and a lot of money, and he's not so great with that. His right brain doesn't function as well as his left, and I mean his left brain doesn't function as well as his right, and so he gets into some trouble financially, and then he's forced to deal with the more exacting people like his family and his sister, and he's got to, get involved with some nefarious characters to keep the party going, and you realize that there's a darker underbelly to the good times.
It's interesting that, especially in your portrayal, it's like a well-intended naivete, right? That goes incredibly awry.
Yeah, that's perfectly
Right.
said.
Was one of the reasons I took the gig. Frankly, what's the script like, and who's doing it, and who's involved, right? Behind and in front of the camera, and Chris Mercado, having been a co-creator of Narcos and other stuff that he's done, and working with my friend Forrest Whitaker, his reputation. I was like, okay, this is going to be a really good writer, and this is a great world. And then I hear that Danny's doing it, which he couldn't have been more of a champion. I put him through it back in the day, It's a turnaround's fair play, I guess. Because I get put through it in this one in a big way. He does too. I mean, we're all going through it. But
I mean, that's a beautiful thing about how this show came together is that Yul called Danny and Danny said, I'm in. If you're in it, I'm in. And then they called Michael and told him Danny's in it. And Michael goes,
okay.
oh, Danny's in it?
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
in. And then they were all told that they had to deal with me, which, whatever.
well,
they were
we
like,
found
fine, I'm
that
still
out
doing
after
it.
the fact, and
What can I
okay.
do? Yeah. We're already in. So,
Yeah.
all right.
No, he was literally the drug that's just
It just keeps going.
yeah.